Hello guys and gals, it's Soulfax here and you're watching another War Thunder video, and this again is not a first on my channel. I was about to say it's a first on my channel, but it's not a first because I already did a video where I had both jet aircrafts and prop fighters in the same match. Anyhow, this is a realistic battle match on the map called New Guinea, and the culprit of today's video is aptly called Cham, C_A_P_M_H, and he hails from the clan Nerd. I might have spelt that wrong. Don't judge me. English is not my native language. Anyhow, yeah, he's flying in his F8F-1B Bearcat. Bearcat? Yes, it's Bearcat, and it's armed with 4 20mm Aden cannons. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he's going to be fighting against the Japanese. This is a Japanese versus the United States and the Brits match on, like I said, the New Guinea map. And I'm repeating myself, so let's get on with the rest of the video. Now that I listen back to what I just recorded, I do realize that I horribly misspelled the word Cham, and I do apologize to Mr. Cham, who was so kind to send me this video right after I lost all of the replays that I had received from you guys due to a new client update. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for sending me this replay, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And while you're watching this amazing looking aircraft, and that is, I'm just gonna assume, because I really don't know, that might be a player made skin. So like I said, while you're watching this amazing looking aircraft, I need to tell you that, well, I don't know much about this aircraft. My knowledge of this aircraft is limited to my experience with fighting this aircraft. So yeah, I never reached this aircraft in the American tree. I never flown it personally. I've only flown against it a few times, and in my experience, this is a very good aircraft, especially the B version with the 4 20mm Aden cannons that can shred, well, basically anything it touches with a very short burst. And also from my experience, this is a very fast plane if you manage to put some altitude beneath you, yes, if you manage to get to some altitude and then dive down and try to chase down opponents. I do realize there is a chance that everything that I've just said about this aircraft is completely and utterly wrong, and I do accept that, but what I do know about this aircraft is that it's a super prop aircraft, which means that it will be fighting jet aircrafts and that it cannot catch up to jet aircrafts, but it will, with some skill and with some good positioning, easily outmaneuver most jet aircrafts at this battle rating. But moving on to the first engagement of this video, he's going to be fighting what appears to be an R2Y2. Now the thing about an R2Y2 is that it's not the fastest or the most maneuverable of jet aircrafts at this battle rating, so it's not the best jet aircraft, but what it does have is 4 20mm cannons in the nose. He's going for head-on? Nope. Okay, that was very close because he fires just 2 shots and then rolls out of the way as a smart person he is, and now he does something very interesting. The R2Y2 was on lower altitude than him at the beginning of this engagement, so he pops flaps looking to get on his 6 and maybe fire off a few shots if he is in range. Unfortunately for him, the R2Y2 puts his nose down and dives away, which means that he cannot actually keep up with him. And that's one thing you will see in this video quite a lot, using the flaps and keeping this relatively fast aircraft at a relatively low energy state while fighting aircrafts that can easily catch up to him. That first R2Y2 is currently out of reach, but lo and behold, a second R2Y2 dies from the sky. He's following a friendly aircraft. Unfortunately for him, the friendly aircraft manages to make a very sharp turn and gets out of the way. Now this R2Y2 is in a kind of a pickle. He gets a few shots into him very quickly in this engagement and then manages to take him out very easily for his first kill in the match. So he pulls his nose up to regain some altitude, and now this second R2Y2 is, well, kind of screwed. He is surrounded by 5 enemy aircraft and he is at low altitude, at low energy state. The only thing he can count on is somebody being foolish enough to try to go for a head-on with him, and Mr. Champ is definitely not going to do that. The R2Y2 tries to turn out of the way. Unfortunately for him, Mr. Champ is very good at these kind of weird inverted shots, but that's basically it for this part of the video. What follows is, well, very boring. He just climbs from this point on, points his nose to the other side of the map, away from the engagements, and climbs all the way to 6 kilometers. Yes, I'm not exaggerating or making a joke. He climbs from this point on to 6 kilometers altitude. So let me use up that time to talk about something that I wanted to talk about for, well, quite some time now. I know there's some people watching this video that are not my subscribers and don't give a damn about me and what I have to say, so for those of you that just want to watch the gameplay, there's an annotation at the top of the screen that you can click to get transported to the part of the video where I start talking about this replay and showing you actual gameplay. Anyhow, what I wanted to say is that after playing almost 1 year playing this game almost 1 year exclusively, I've kind of gotten burned out. I've played with all of the nations, gotten tier 5 with only Germany, gotten tier 4 tanks with only Germany, and played more than 300 hours of this game, played more than 6 days of simulated battles with fighter aircrafts, and I really gotta say that I gotta take a break. This happens to me sometimes with the games that I play for more than 6 months. I just get burned out from playing this game. I play it too much, then I get burned out and I need to take a break. This game is kind of different. I love War Thunder, I still really do love it, but I can't play it because it's so freaking frustrating. This game is just what frustrating means to me. I've been playing Counter-Strike Go for the past few weeks, and that game is frustrating, but when you mess up in that game and when you die, you messed up, and you died, and you know why you died, because, well, it's a completely balanced game to an extent. While War Thunder, I would say, is the complete opposite of balance. And when you get cheap deaths and when you die when you're supposed to not die, it just makes me so frustrated that I can't play this game anymore. Now, the core of this problems for me happened when I was grinding for the VK4501 a few months back, at the beginning of 2016. Is it a few months? Oh my god, it's already a few months. Anyhow, me and a friend of mine were playing a lot, and we were trying to grind, both of us, for the VK4501, and we played probably in that week more than I've played in the past 2 months. I literally sat down on my computer for 8 hours straight and played this game trying to grind out. And in that time, I got so frustrated with the state of this game and so disgusted that I just had to stop. And from that point on, I only touched this game to record videos. And only a few days ago when I got the gameplay for that JU87 video that I made, that's the only time that I played this video since that I played this video game since like the first month, since 2 months ago. And that's just what I wanted to say. I'm going to be still doing War Thunder videos, but I won't be doing War Thunder videos where I'm the main culprit. I said culprit, the main subject of that video. So yeah, I apologize to all of you that like the series, the Tank Academy series and German Stellinium series, but those things will need to be put at hold. Anyhow, moving on with the video, we'll need to skip forwards in the video to get to some actual gameplay. So after a few minutes of climbing, Mr. Champ finds himself at 7,400 meters altitude. Luckily for him, there was actually a reason to climb this high, because there's 2 enemy fighters at this altitude. Both of them are N1K2s. Now, N1K2s, I have absolutely no idea about this aircraft and what they do, but this first N1K2 pilot wasn't very smart. He goes up into the vertical and tries to do what looks like a head-on with Mr. Champ, but at the last moment he tries to pull out of it. But unfortunately for him, he doesn't roll out of the way, he actually tries to dive out of the way, turning his plane over and inverting it. Unfortunately for him, that's not a very good idea, because Mr. Champ then has a clear shot on him. Now, this second N1 pilot is a whole different story. This guy, before this even engagement starts, I gotta say that he is a very good pilot. He just messes around with 4 enemy aircrafts for more than a few minutes. Anyhow, again, you can see that Mr. Champ is using his flaps to try and get some shot on the enemy pilot. While using flaps in situations like that is a good idea, that means that when you do disengage your flaps, you're gonna be going quite slow, and Mr. Champ currently is going only 350 kilometers an hour, which almost allows this N1 pilot to get on his 6. As you can see, he's getting very, very close, but luckily for Mr. Champ, he doesn't have enough energy. Mr. Champ just pulls his nose up, tries to get as much altitude as he can to get away from this N1 pilot, and this N1 pilot just gives up and puts his nose down. Now, as you can see, there's currently 4 aircrafts on this one N1 pilot, and 2 of those, I think, are actually jet aircrafts. Now, the N1 pilot, like I said, is a very good pilot, and he's gonna learn all of those aircrafts down to altitude, down to the altitude where he can actually do something. Now, I don't know about the late Japanese aircraft and how they perform. I really don't have much experience with the Japanese aircraft, but the earlier Japanese aircraft, like the Zeros, they do excel at lower altitudes, and they do have amazing turn times. So I'm gonna guess that what this N1 pilot did was very beneficial to him. Anyhow, now they're under 2 kilometers altitude, starting at 7 kilometers that engagement. And unfortunately for him, he's gonna meet his doom very, very quickly here, because, well, even though he did get down to his optimal altitude, there's still 4 enemy aircrafts on his 6. So Mr. Champ is trying to put shots into him for like the last 2 minutes, and luckily he gets a pilot snipe. That is the first contact he made with that plane. He gets himself a pilot snipe and his 4th kill in the match. And I gotta tell you, this video is going to be very quickly over because there's only 1 aircraft remaining on the enemy team. And that last aircraft is gotta be very close because somebody did spot him, and oh, he's diving down on Mr. Champ. Mr. Champ pulls his flaps, goes into a rolling maneuver and manages to make this aircraft overshoot. That is another N1K2, I believe. And now he's in kind of a pickle again because he did manage to dive down, but instead of just extending outwards and maybe going into zoom climb, this guy decides to maneuver with Mr. Champ. And Mr. Champ, while still using his flaps, is able to get on the 6 of this NK1K and 2-1K. I really don't know what this aircraft is called. He is getting very close to him, and again he manages to pull off a very weird inverted shot for his 5th kill in the match, for an ace in a day, and for a very, very good match in what appears to be a very good aircraft. But yeah, this was a very good replay if you ask me, and thank you for sending me this replay. And I'm sorry if the quality of this video is not up to my usual standards. I'm kind of sick currently and my mind is just completely all over the place, but I hope you enjoyed this video. My name has been Soulfax and I will see you next time.